Neuroscience is really, really clear on this. When someone feels excluded, their brain reacts the same way it does to physical pain. In other words, being left out doesn't just hurt your feelings, it's like taking a fastball to the ribs. You're not going to be at your best. Be the teammate that you wish you had when you were new. Because years from now, nobody is going to remember your batting average. Nobody's going to remember how many home runs you hit, how many shutouts you pitched, or your ERA. But they'll never forget how you made them feel. That's culture. That's leadership. And that is how you win. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Next Season Podcast, episode 33. And as I talked about in the previous episode, it is end of summer. Don't know how I feel about it. Have to accept it. But we're rolling into a new school year. And in the last episode, I was talking, number 32, I was talking to the new guys, the freshmen, the rookies, right? The new guys on the team. And we talked about some of the mistakes that new guys make, freshmen make, that make them a garbage new teammate. It's ego, it's lack of awareness, it's bad timing. It's so much of it are defense mechanisms that go in when we're uncomfortable, when we're challenged with something, we're going through new, because new is anxiety, new is different, new brings out stress. And anytime we experience those things, we can put up walls, we can have defense mechanisms, and a lot of that comes out. So it's about being aware of what's going on and a roadmap and some steps that you can take to make a difference, right? So what I laid out in the previous episode was the 5-step playbook to be the garbage new guy, right? The mistakes, the things not to do. But I didn't just tell you what not to do, because that's important. It's not just telling you the opposite of what not to do. That's obvious. I also gave you 5 additional things that make you a great new guy, the ideal team player, and how to make a killer first impression. So that was all for the freshmen and the new guys. Today, I'm talking to the upperclassmen, because let's be real, the way that you treat the new guy can set the tone for the whole year. You can either build a culture where everybody grows and plays free and has fun and creates a brotherhood, or you can poison it before the first pitch. And this is true for high school upperclassmen and welcoming freshmen or guys who maybe moved into your school, and especially for college guys, even more so now with the transfer portal and the constant influx of new recruits. You have to maintain the standards and the culture for your team. And I want to be clear, new guys don't just need rules or routines or to fall in line. Okay? They need connection. Neuroscience is really, really clear on this. When someone feels excluded, their brain reacts the same way it does to physical pain. We're going to talk more about that. But think about that. Like a sarcastic comment, an eye roll, ignoring a guy on the bus. To his brain, it's like you just punched him in the face. When that brain is in pain or survival mode, it's not in performance mode, period. I'll stop. Okay. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you my top 3 things that you can do to be a garbage upperclassman and how to ruin your leadership for younger or newer teammates. I'm going to build in the opposite actions and behaviors with each of those 3. And then I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to give you 3 things you can do to be an awesome teammate and a leader to those new guys. I want to start by giving you an example from my high school and from my college experiences. When I was a high school freshman, I wanted to make the varsity team. I thought I had a shot, but I didn't make the varsity team. I was on the JV team as a freshman. And I feel like I could have competed. I feel like I could have hung, but I wasn't ready. And that didn't happen. Sophomore year, I split time between JV and varsity. And I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the strongest, wasn't physically developed yet, but I could hang as a catcher and outfielder. And what was really cool is later in the season, my sophomore year, one of the pitchers told the coach that he wanted me to catch him, right, in a game. It was a big game. We're getting ready for playoffs. He wanted me to catch him. And I had never caught him, not even a bullpen. So I didn't know his stuff, right? But he said he wanted to throw to me in one of the biggest games of the year. And that endorsement, that support, and that belief and confidence that he gave me still sticks with me today. Obviously, I'm telling you the story. And he pitched an awesome game. He was lights out. He pitched a 2-hit shutout. Of course, in the 6th, he dropped in a nasty curve and it hit my thumb, bit my thumb back, and I just couldn't squeeze it anymore. You get that catcher's thumb. He jammed it pretty good. and I had to come out in the seventh. I actually wasn't able to catch the last few games of that year. So that was kind of a bummer, but that was a powerful highlight of my sophomore year. In college, I recall vividly being embraced by the upperclassmen, specifically the juniors and some of the sophomores on our baseball team. Even though I left school after 2 years, if you go check out the first 4 episodes of the Next Season podcast, I tell more about what that story was and kind of the what and the why. So go check that out. But some of my best friends to this day are those older guys, those juniors and seniors when I was a freshman. Even the seniors took me in and the other freshmen in as well. I wasn't as close with them as I was with some of the sophomores and juniors, but even the seniors were still big brothers, right? And that allowed me and the rest of us new guys to be ourselves, to adjust to the major changes that come with beginning college. From the field to the classroom to navigating life, they took their responsibilities very seriously. And I have mad respect and appreciation to them for it. But I did also see some crappy examples, and I've seen them happen to other guys too. And that's where I want to start today. So let's break down the 3 ways that upperclassmen get it wrong, and then the 3 ways to get it right. So here are 3 ways to be a terrible or garbage teammate. And again, we're using inversion thinking. So go check out episode 32 for more about why we do that. The first one is ignoring and excluding. You walk past the new guy and you don't even acknowledge it. You got your clique on the bus, you've got your small group on the bus, and he's not welcome. You've got your cage group and he's left out. You might not even realize that you're doing it, but to him, to that freshman or that group of freshmen, it's loud and it's clear. And the impact that you're having on not only his emotional state, but his actual performance on the field and in the classroom is massive. Picture this. Okay? Thousands of years ago, you're in a tribe. If they kick you out of that tribe, you're done. There's no food, there's no protection. It's game over. You're dead. Fast forward to today, your brain hasn't updated. Your brain still runs on that code. That feeling of being excluded or isolated activates the fight, flight, or freeze response, and you simply cannot perform when you're in that state. And here's the wild part. Brain scans show that exclusion, right, or isolation, that feeling that we get and the neural response to that also lights up the same parts of the brain that activate when we have physical pain. So again, broken bones, strained muscles, all of it. Human beings are built to belong. It's survival, plain and simple. And so when you welcome a new teammate, you free him up to play loose. But if you ice him out, don't be surprised when he can't hit because he's just trying to survive. And if you want to nerd out on this for a minute, here's what's happening in the brain. If you're excluded and you feel like you're being pushed out or isolated, or if you do it to somebody else, the chain reaction, the neural process starts in the amygdala. And that's the part of the brain that scans for fear or anxiety. From there, it signals the hypothalamus, which kicks on your autonomic nervous system. That autonomic nervous system is what drives fight, flight, or freeze. If the sympathetic system, part of that autonomic nervous system takes over, the sympathetic system takes over, you get fight or flight. If the parasympathetic system takes over, you get freeze. So sympathetic state is higher stress, higher cortisol, it's more action. Parasympathetic is freeze. It's more calm, but it's freezing in that process. On top of that, exclusion or isolation also activates the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. You don't have to remember all this, okay? The DACC and the anterior insula, right? Those are the same brain regions that process physical pain. In other words, being left out doesn't just hurt your feelings. It's like taking a fastball to the ribs. You're not going to be at your best, okay? So again, starts in the amygdala, hypothalamus, that's autonomic nervous system, that's fight, flight, or freeze. If it's sympathetic system takes over, you get the fight or flight, you get the action. If it's parasympathetic, you get freeze. That also activates the dorsal anterior cingulate and the anterior insula, and those process physical pain. That's what's happened, okay? If you exclude somebody, they cannot play free. They hold back. They second guess. They protect themselves. That's what the brain is wired to do. And that hurts him, but your behavior, your seniority, your better than attitude is hurting your team. Instead, be the guy who notices. Say what's up. Pull them into your group. Inclusion is free, but it pays off huge dividends for him, for the freshman, for the whole group, and for your team. That one moment of eye contact, that one slap on the back, right? That one dap, it literally changes the brain chemistry. Oxytocin, dopamine, the bonding hormones kick in. You just made your team stronger just by saying what's up, just by noticing somebody, making them feel welcome. That's the first mistake that people make. That's the first way to be a garbage teammate, is to exclude and isolate. The second way that you can be a garbage teammate to your freshmen is withholding knowledge. And this is a big one. You know the team routines. You know the unwritten rules. You know how coach wants to run drills. You know the process. You know what it's like going through college and balancing work, balancing your school responsibilities and your team responsibilities, your athletic responsibilities. Okay. You know what all of that's like. And you just sit back and let the new guy fail because he's going to figure it out. That's lazy. That's lazy leadership. You've been there. Remember how confusing that first week felt, that first month, the first year, right? The faster that a new guy learns the ropes, the faster he's going to be able to contribute. If you sit back and watch him fail because that's how you were treated, or because you have a little enjoyment over seeing them struggle, which is honestly the bullying, or because you think that's how they need to learn, or you just don't put in the extra effort to step outside of yourself and have awareness and intention to think about what somebody else might be going through, you're not proving anything. You're just delaying his growth and dragging the team down. The brain hates uncertainty. And when you don't know what to expect, those stress hormones spike, which narrows focus and slows learning. But when you give clarity, you reduce stress and free up mental energy for performance. You don't have to have all the answers. And you certainly don't have to give them all the knowledge and all the step by steps, everything up front, because that can be overwhelming. But just opening that door, letting them know that you're there, giving them little nuggets now and then can be a game changer. But don't hoard knowledge, share it. Show them where the gear goes. Show them how lifts are structured. Show them what the routines look like. And tell them how coach expects hustle between stations or what the coach's standards are. It's not about being soft. This is leadership. This is the part of the process. And the faster that he levels up, the better your team is going to be. So those are the first two: isolation, exclusion, and then hoarding knowledge. And the third way that you can be a garbage upperclassman to your freshmen is hazing. Okay. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to lie. I was hazed. And at the time, there was a sense of this is part of earning it, right? It was tradition. It was culture, kind of, it's the way it was. And I'll admit that the idea of going through something hard together, like a shared struggle, has validity. Like, that's how brotherhood is often built. I'm not opposed to it necessarily in principle. Problem is, hazing has gotten abused. It's gone way too far in many cases. And it stopped in many cases being about forging connection, and it started being about humiliation. Humiliation does not build trust, it builds resentment. It's certainly gone beyond that in many ways and crossed line from a rite of passage and a welcoming and a shared struggle to flat out disgusting behavior, and certainly dangerous and deadly. The brain sciences, when you embarrass somebody, their amygdala, going back to fear and stress, that fear center lights up like a Christmas tree. Their stress skyrockets, their ability to focus and learn tanks. Okay. That's not brotherhood. That's not forging bonds. That's not creating a team. That's trauma. I'm going to say this: shared struggle can bond individuals and bond a team, but it has to be the right kind of struggle. It has to be competing together, running conditioning drills together, doing those hard things, grinding through tough practices together, going off campus and getting away from phones and doing something hard. Like I think about Remember the Titans, that whole scene where they went to Gettysburg. and they went through that camp. That was all about forging brotherhood by doing something hard. It wasn't hazing. That is shared adversity. That builds trust without destroying dignity. And the main difference between the dangerous hazing and the forging bonds through doing hard things are in the questions, or in the nuance. Are you doing it because you want entertainment, or are you doing it because you care about them? Are you doing it because that's the way that it happened for you, or because you saw some funny clips of these viral videos of people doing really dumb, crazy challenges, or because there's a reason behind it? It's not about embarrassment. Instead of hazing, find ways to forge brotherhood through healthy struggle. Bring the new guy into the weight room for a hard lift, challenge him to a sprint, include him in the grind, not just about embarrassment, because that's how you turn struggle into connection. So, those are your top 3 ways to be a garbage upperclassman. I want to flip it. Let's talk about 3 ways that you can be an awesome teammate, an awesome upperclassman, the ideal guy to be a leader on the team and to make somebody feel welcome and be able to perform. Here they are. The first one: model the standards and the competition. I love the word standards. I'm not a big rules guy. I understand and use the word expectations, but I'm careful with that too, because when we expect things from other people, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. People are human. They're not going to meet expectations. We can't expect outcomes, okay, from ourselves or other people. But standards is a beautiful word. It's the bar that we set for ourselves. It's the bar we set for our team, other people, right? And it's focused on behaviors and actions and attitudes that we strive for to maintain or to exceed. That's the difference to me between standards and expectations. Standards are the bar that we set. Expectations can lead to disappointment. New guys don't learn from speeches. They learn from what you do, the standard that you set, and the behaviors that you model every single day. So show up early, hustle every rep, compete in everything, create competition, raise that standard higher. Neuroscience shows that the brain has something called mirror neurons, and they fire when you watch someone else. If I watch somebody who is modeling behavior that I respect or I want to be like, the mirror neurons that are going on in my brain makes me want to model those same behaviors. That means when a freshman sees you getting after it, his brain tells him, go copy it. Do that too. So you don't have to tell him what the standard is. You show him. And when everyone sees that the leaders go hard, it sets the bar for the entire team. That's contagious energy. That's leadership without saying a word. And that's the first thing that you want to do if you want to be a great leader and a great upperclassman. The second is similar, and it's set and protect that team culture. So we've got standards, and now we talk about culture. Culture isn't what you write on the wall or what a coach says in a speech. Culture is what you feel when you walk into that locker room. Great Gary Vee calls it the heartbeat of a team. It's the vibe, the texture, and the pulse. It's not slogans. It's not hashtags. It's not something printed on a t-shirt. It's the energy that you create every single day. Simon Sinek breaks it down as well. Culture is values plus behavior. I'm going to say it again. Culture is values plus behavior. It's the things that you say are important and the things that you show are important. It's not what you say you value, but what you actually do. If you say you value hard work, but then you've got guys that are skipping reps and nobody calls it out, the real culture is laziness. It's lack of accountability. If you say you value respect, but then you gossip and trash talk without it getting checked, the real culture is disrespect, is gossip. And the truth is, you don't get culture by accident. You either let it happen by default or you build it with intention. Culture is who you are as a team under pressure, when things get hard, when no one is watching. Culture is character in that way, right? And that's why protecting culture matters. When guys know the vibe is strong, when they know that the values actually show up in actions, they feel free and safe to take risks, to play loose, to go all in. That's physiological, that's psychological safety, and that's how you unlock performance. So be the guy who protects that heartbeat, that culture. Step in when things slide, when those standards are not being met. Live the values that you want the team to stand for, because culture is not what you talk about, it's what you tolerate. And if you get it right, it becomes a competitive edge that nobody can touch. You have a responsibility as a leader of the team to maintain and improve that culture and to have a thermometer ready to measure the temperature so you know when it needs addressed. Own that responsibility. Okay. So those are the first two. Okay. We've got standards and competition. We've got setting and protecting that team culture. And the third thing that makes you a great upperclassman is to share your struggles. And this one's underrated, in my opinion. Freshmen can walk in thinking that the older guys have it all figured out. But when you open up and tell them about the time that you struck out 3 times in a game, 4 times in a game, or how you almost lost your spot, or how you barely played your freshman year, or your struggles with balancing the responsibilities of a student athlete and you had to go on academic probation because you couldn't figure something out, you make yourself real. The science of this is vulnerability builds trust. Oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical, gets released in both you and who you're talking with. That literally wires your brain to feel more connected. But here's what most people get wrong. They think vulnerability is weakness. It's actually a sign of confidence, because only a strong and secure person can say, "Yeah, I screwed up. I screwed up big time, and I grew from it." Hiding your mistakes is actually insecurity. Vulnerability is courage, is strength. Owning them is leadership. And when a younger player sees that you've struggled too, it does 2 things. First, it gives him permission to be human. And second, it shows him that real struggle isn't the end, it's part of the process. That's what builds resilience. So don't be afraid to admit your struggles. That honesty makes you stronger, it makes him stronger, and it pulls your team closer together. Vulnerability is not soft. It's how you build trust. And trust, this, is the foundation of every great team. So here's the deal. When you're an upperclassman, and I'm saying upperclassmen, certainly seniors and juniors, but sophomores too, your job changes. You're not just fighting for your own stats anymore. You're building the brotherhood. If you ignore, if you exclude, if you haze, you put your team in survival mode. But when you welcome, when you teach, when you protect that culture, when you share your vulnerabilities, you're helping all those freshmen, all those new guys, and the rest of the team navigate their slumps, have more fun on the road trips, prepare for the final exams better. Be ready for that, right? Handle the girl drama. And all of that unleashes dogs that are going to go to war with you. Be that guy. Talent is going to win you games, but it's not going to win you championships. And talent alone won't help you win in life. So be the teammate that you wish you had when you were new. Because years from now, nobody is going to remember your batting average. Nobody's going to remember how many home runs you hit, how many shutouts you pitched, or your ERA. But they'll never forget how you made them feel. That's culture. That's leadership. And that is how you win. If this video was helpful, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, okay? Send it to a teammate, save it. All of those things have a massive impact on being able to grow this channel, provide additional impact, bring on cool guests, have great conversations, and hopefully provide you more value. So appreciate you. We'll see you next time.